Welcome everyone for another episode. Today's our guest is a scholar, IIT Bombay alumnus. He's a certified yoga teacher, intellectual asset to Hindu American community here, and he has a commitment towards seva, which is selfless service, and cultural advocacy. He is also a subject matter expert on Hindu philosophy and its practical application in modern life. He's constantly exploring the methods that our ancient Hindu sages practiced to arrive at a correct knowledge. Welcome, Vidwan Mohan Sonti ji. Uh, it's a privilege to have you on the show.
Namaste.
Thank you. So today's our discussion will be more focused on uh, where actually India stands. I've been observing a lot of media globally, including the media in Bharat, uh, that they are saying they have some of them actually declared India as a superpower, and there are some certain incidences or I would say initiatives by the government that happen with respect to the neighboring countries, uh, and it happened, and suddenly there was a boom. Hey, we are a superpower. Uh, I was thinking out loud with it. Are we actually superpower? Is India is that great as of now? Are we superpower? Somebody said, no, we are not there yet, but we are a reliable power. And I was questioning myself whether we are actually any kind of power, you know. And that's how I thought maybe I will hear your perspective as a scholar. Uh, how you perceive this situation with respect to India?
So we are one of the big powers,
Mm-hmm.
not a superpower.
Mm-hmm.
The only superpower today is America,
Mm-hmm.
because the way the superpower is measured today is in terms of the military might and economic might, and America leads all the way
Mm-hmm.
in both. China is catching up on the economic side and on the military side, but it's nowhere close to America. Now, for Bharat, we don't measure the superpower in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
We are more like, even in the past, militarily, we were very strong,
Mm-hmm.
but it is actually the wisdom, what brings about the peace. We consider that to be the power. So in the past, that's what the kind of power that we had. It's
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily in terms of the number of weapons we have and things like that. But that said, Bharat also has substantial military might.
Mm-hmm.
Its economy is currently the fourth, fifth, and depending on the day, it can be even sixth, somewhere around that. But soon we are going to be the third largest economy within a few years. So we are one of the big powers,
Mm-hmm.
not a superpower.
Good to know. Thanks for that. So I thought it would be better for us to do some kind of data-driven comparison among the different sectors that I think any country can have or own, starting with oil and gas. How we are doing it there, as a nation.
Okay, so when it comes to oil and gas, in fact, I was looking at around 8 or 9 different kind of sources of energy that we have,
Mm-hmm.
and when I did the analysis on all of them, we do have challenges and external dependencies for practically all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Oil reserves are one of the lowest. We cannot sustain ourselves we can't sustain more than 3 to 5 years if we are entirely going to use our resources.
Wow.
So those are called the strategic reserves. So we never want to use that oil.
Mm-hmm.
Then that's the same for the gas as well. Then the hydro has a limitation because we have only so many rivers.
Mm-hmm.
So the theoretical max has already been calculated by the government of India. Same goes with the solar.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like we can just put the solar panels all over the country and it works. It doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have to see that the solar panels have a very low efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
It starts at around 20% being one of the more optimal efficient ones. Very often it is less than that. That's because 50% of the time you don't have sun and it captures only a few hours of the sun.
Wow, that's interesting. I didn't know that. I
And
thought we had a lot of sun.
we could have sun. The issue is with solar, the issue is half the time we don't have the sun anyway, right? And the remaining half, they all point to one direction.
Mm-hmm.
So there's only few hours of the sun that we actually capture it. Second, because we don't have sun at night, it is imperative that we have to store it somewhere.
Right, right.
Unlike in say hydro, even in all of those cases, you may have to store it.
Mm-hmm.
But the wind and hydro and all the coal and other cases, you could still generate something at night. Right? It is not time dependent. For hydro, it is dependent on the monsoons and many other factors. But for solar, the issue is because it's only available for certain duration, you have to store it, which means you need batteries, and batteries need other rare earths and less available minerals, such as you need the cobalt and you need nickel and all of them. And some countries like Democratic Republic of Congo, I think has a substantial, close to around 70% of all the cobalt.
Wow.
So
this is compared to the global.
Yes,
Okay.
of all the reserves. So the reserves are not evenly distributed. Some reserves come from Australia, some from the African countries, some come from the South American countries. So they're fairly concentrated in certain regions, which means we will have an external dependency.
Right.
And quite naturally, if the other countries, obviously people are trying to get their influence on it. Currently, China, America, and including Bharat will also try, but they are more powerful nations from the economic standpoint.
Right.
America tends to have a better grip on all of them. So it is not going to be that easy. The only solution we have is actually that the one we have in abundance is thorium reserve.
Right.
If we use it properly, the thorium reserves with the fast breeder reactors, then our energy sustenance can last for the next 1,000 years.
Really?
But every other source, so gas and oil, we don't have much. Hydro has a limitation. We are already at about, we finished 50% of the work and we intend to complete the remaining 50%. That only caters for a small portion. Then we have the solar, like I said, again has a theoretical max. We cannot randomly have solar panels everywhere, even the rooftops and things like that. If we have everything in, say, Rajasthan, then there are losses in transportation.
Right.
So you have all those things to factor in, and they may not even be viable anymore. So from my recollection, I think government identified about 7 major states where they are kind of viable. Like for example, in Mumbai, like for months it's going to rain. Right, non-stop. So solar panels can only be so much effective. Their efficiency falls far below 20%.
Right.
Now imagine that in a day, and that too only for a portion of the day, then essentially they become way more expensive. Right, because after a certain amount of time you have to replace them. Now these solar panels also require cadmium and many other rare earths. And then there's an issue of disposal. So you see there's a compounding effect. It's not as simple as we can just put solar panels.
Right.
So we are doing a good job in that, but there is a theoretical max. And I can tell you that satisfies at the moment. It can have a theoretical max of about 50% of what we consume today can be done with solar. But as the country grows, this theoretical max will be more like 20-25%. That's the max we can satisfy with that. So we need to look for alternate sources, biofuels being one of them. But nuclear is the final solution for us. That's the only one that will work, that we are not dependent on others.
Right. And how about the situation of cars? They're saying, hey, now you can only drive vehicles which are electric, not based on dependent on the oil.
So let's think of it this way, right? The issue we have in Bharat with the vehicles is we don't have that many vehicles to begin with. It feels that way. I mean, I've talked to many people and they are like, oh, there are cars everywhere and we have cars. But it's really not so. All right? We can go over those numbers later.
Okay.
But the issue we have in Bharat is the vehicles, even though we have few, many of them are really old ones that we continue to run. Because unlike in, say, USA, where the cars are replaced very fast, in Bharat, we keep the cars for a very, very long time. And even the motorcycles, mopeds, all of them keep running, which means the older ones are very inefficient. So in fact, they generate one of the largest amount of the pollution. So if you look at the pollution itself, in the division, about 50% of the pollution comes from the construction, because the country is developing right now.
Right.
So that is natural. Every developing country will have it. because it has to. Without that, you cannot develop. You cannot build the roads and bridges and all of that. About 20%, 27% of that, the remaining.
Mm-hmm.
So 50% is, like I said, is for the construction work and all the other development work.
Mm-hmm.
27% comes from the vehicles.
Wow.
About 17% comes from the stubble burning and other reasons.
Mm-hmm.
So there are ways of tackling each one of them.
Mm-hmm.
But the 27%, as we switch to electric, that is the segment that they're trying to reduce.
Mm-hmm.
Also, all the new cars are a lot more efficient.
Mm-hmm.
Like in USA, many of them are zero emission or partially zero emission.
Wow.
Right? But those are expensive too.
Mm-hmm.
So we per capita cars, it's already very low.
Mm-hmm.
But slowly they're trying to phase out the older ones.
Mm-hmm.
And that is where the challenge is. But it's the 27% they're working on.
Good to know. Let's come to the defense sector with respect to the weapons or submarines, jets, where we stand as a country there.
So we are definitely a force to reckon with. We are certainly a strong force,
Mm-hmm.
one of the largest militaries. That's also true. But that said, it is USA is an entirely different type of a country.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, USA has enough power to take on the rest of the world single-handedly. To put that into perspective, USA spends about $850 to $900 billion
Mm-hmm.
on defense per year. That's part of their budget.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at the overlays, like the money that goes over the next year, and then some of the money is distributed over several years,
Mm-hmm.
the total available money per year is close to $2 trillion.
Wow.
Now, in comparison,
Mm-hmm.
Bharat spends somewhere around $60 billion.
Mm.
Now you get an idea where we stand.
Right, right.
All right. China is the only other challenger who spends about, now the numbers vary a bit, it can be between $300 to $400 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Russia also spends around 100 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now you see where everybody stands. But that said, USA is certainly about, I would say, 10 times much larger in almost all the aspects.
Mm-hmm.
Even compared to China, I mean, China has, they say they have the same number of aircraft, the submarines and things like that. They have 70 submarines.
Mm-hmm.
But US submarines, all the 70 are nuclear submarines. And technologically, they're far more advanced than what China can even imagine.
Mm-hmm.
This is notwithstanding what the newspapers say. They say whatever Chinese government says.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a communist government. Nobody knows what happens, and they say what they
Right.
say. They can claim anything they want.
Mm-hmm.
But technologically, despite the fact that even the aircrafts, the J-20 and all of them,
Mm-hmm.
which is a stolen technology from USA, and it's a very well-known thing that the JSF, the F-35s,
Mm-hmm.
that they stole some of the technology, they reverse engineer, they do all of those things,
Mm-hmm.
but the quality is really not there yet.
Mm-hmm.
But they do have the quantity.
Mm-hmm.
For Bharat, quality-wise, we are definitely superior
Mm-hmm.
in comparison to China. Not America, I would say we would rank second in almost everything. The reason is we can actually collaborate with all the nations
Mm-hmm.
because it's in our culture to have a friendly relation with everyone. We work on coalition and friendship.
Right, right.
So if you think about, we are the only nation who are friends with Israel
Mm-hmm.
and Iran
Mm-hmm.
and Palestinians
Mm-hmm.
and Russians and Ukrainians and Americans. I mean, you take it any
Wow.
combinations, we're the only country that are friends with everyone
Mm-hmm.
because we don't meddle in somebody else's affairs.
Sure, correct.
Right? So we get the best of all the technologies. In fact,
Mhm.
our Sukhoi aircrafts are far superior to what even Russia would have it
Wow.
because we use avionics from a different place and we use, we use their engine, their frame, and the other things that we have our own innovation.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine we add all the pieces to it.
But their engines are exported, though, isn't it?
Engines are exported right now.
Mm-hmm.
That is correct. But there are avionics and there are many other components to radars and many other things. Some of them we add our own technology to it.
Homegrown.
Some we get it from, say, Israel.
Mm-hmm.
We integrate from there. The same goes with many other things that we purchase. Let's say we purchase an equipment from Israel, we
Mhm.
put certain French elements into it. Or
Mm-hmm.
we purchase from France,
Mm-hmm.
we have certain things we get from US.
Mm-hmm.
Our aircraft, we get the engines from GE.
Right,
Right.
right.
But in some other cases, we could also get the engines from the Safran from France.
Mm-hmm.
So you see the combinations. In Tejas, we get electronics, the radars and everything from Israel.
Mm-hmm.
but we also build our own systems.
Mm-hmm.
And when we find that it's superior to them, then we replace with ours. Then you
Right.
get an idea on why our systems are.
Not that way.
Actually, our systems are much better because we
Much
get
better.
the best of all of them.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have the quantity.
Mm-hmm.
But for Chinese, there's an embargo. They don't get from anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
But ours, we get it from multiple sources. We get the best of the things from everywhere. We shop around and we integrate them.
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes our equipment.
That's smart, though.
Yeah, it's superior.
Mm-hmm.
It's because we maintain the friendships.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Israel is not giving anything to China, neither is America.
Right.
Right? The only source that they can have is from Russia. All the engines are Russian engines.
Mm-hmm.
They are trying to build engines with reverse engineering. That didn't work out that good.
Mm-hmm.
So we are, give or take, almost at the Chinese level.
Mm-hmm.
But Chinese already have engines. They claim that they put it on certain aircrafts.
Mm-hmm.
But those are more like they give it to Pakistan. FC1 has some of those engines.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of those aircrafts did crash.
Mm-hmm.
For us, LCA had only one crash. An entire development cycle, one of the few examples in the world where the aircraft went all the way to development cycle to the integration and the production without a single crash.
Wow, that's impressive.
So we are good in that sense. We don't have the right numbers, but we
Mhm.
certainly have the good quality. I would say all of our military equipment is of higher, superior quality compared to what China can ever have.
Good to know. That's good to know. How about medicine? Medical devices. And is it true that India doesn't have its own MRI machine?
So there are two aspects to it. One is the technology aspect of it. The
Mhm.
second is the pharma side. So we have a very well developed ecosystem for having our own raw materials, the chemicals, and the entire production.
Mhm.
So as far as the pharma is concerned, we actually produce pretty much all the medicines.
Mhm.
We can take any medicine, we produce almost everything that's available in the market.
Mhm.
In fact, many of the things we actually export into other countries.
Mhm.
Right? When it comes to say some of the even the basic medicines and everything, we export them to other
Mhm.
countries. So we are entirely self-sufficient. But the equipment and technology, certain countries have already specialized.
Mhm.
It's not that we cannot make it. We
Mhm.
of course can make it. Think of it as we have seen the Zoho Aratai.
Oh yes, that's.
It has almost all the capabilities of, say, WhatsApp.
Mhm.
But not many have switched
Correct.
because there are two reasons. One is you're already on one and you're satisfied and you don't want to move.
Mhm.
Right? That is one reason. The second reason is the uphill battle that we have to monetize that. We may not get the same returns, and
Mhm.
therefore they don't invest in it.
Mhm.
So that's why all these equipments, while we can get it from other countries, we just purchase it. So if you're saying we don't make it, is different from saying we are not capable of making it. We are fully capable of making it. It is just not viable
Mhm.
because we need to have an export market. Even those countries, if they're not exporting it, they don't make as much money.
Mhm.
They don't break even. So this needs to be very carefully thought through. Don't. It's not like we don't make it. Pakistan doesn't make many things,
They don't make anything.
but they're not capable of making either.
Right.
Right? For us, that is not the case. We are fully capable. We have all the technology that we need, whether it's for MRI machines and all of them. We have full capability.
Mhm.
But whoever is going to invest and make it may not break even from the cost perspective.
Mhm.
So if you can purchase it easily, there's no point making it.
Yeah.
Right? So it's something like that. Right? If you look at, say, the vaccinations, Bharat pretty much supplies the vaccinations for the rest of the world. We are the largest suppliers of them.
Mhm.
And we have well developed the chemical industry, which is basically we can start from the raw materials to
Mhm.
everything
Mhm.
to the end product.
Mhm.
We do supply we are the manufacturing hub for most of the medicines.
Mhm.
And we have, not just in medicines, even in the biotechnology, we are entirely self-sufficient.
Wow.
One of few nations who are entirely self-sufficient in that.
Mhm.
Now, that said, the equipment, like I mentioned, think of it as if you have to purchase a bicycle,
Mm-hmm.
If I ask you, if I give you all the instructions, it's not too difficult. Can you assemble it on your own? Of
Mhm.
course you can do it,
Mm-hmm.
but you wouldn't because you'll just purchase it. It's much easier,
Right.
right? Now you say China can make these things, it's because nobody sells it to China. I mean,
Mhm.
some of the things that they sell is okay, but there are things that they don't sell, then they make it on their own.
Mhm.
We do exactly the same thing. But for now, we have a great relation with all the countries,
Mm-hmm.
and it's much easier to just purchase it.
That's what.
Right?
I think
If I ask you, can you grow an apple? Yes, but would you grow it or would you purchase it? You just purchase it.
Purchase it. Yeah.
So it's something like that.
Interesting. Yeah. No, I like that. How about education and literacy?
So literacy wise, historically, we were, I would say, I mean, that people will say it's probably not 100%, but I can
Mhm.
tell you it is 100% literacy is what we had.
Mm-hmm.
There are many arguments people give that it was not a necessity. But the question is not about necessity, it's about a culture. In
Right.
our culture, the education, knowledge, and wisdom is always at the highest level. It's held at a very high esteem.
Right.
And all of our scriptures,
Mhm.
no matter which scripture you take, will always focus on education and knowledge.
Mhm.
Every scripture will do it,
Yeah.
right? So it's inherently embedded in our culture.
Mhm.
There were gurukulas in every village, every community, which means every jati, every segment, every kulam, everybody had their own gurukulas and their own gurus and their own ways of doing it,
Mhm.
right? Which means everybody had an access.
Correct.
Any illiteracy can only stem from somebody not having an access.
Mhm.
But practically, we had a complete access across the Bharat.
Mhm.
What happened with when Britishers came in is they figured that educated people are always difficult to manage.
Mhm.
So by 1905, we were 5% literates. 5%.
Wow.
It's because they brought in, they had their own mechanisms on how they called it as they brought in their education,
Mm-hmm.
and then they got rid of all of our education because they made it so cheap and they did other tactics, and they forced it on us. And once everything is gotten rid of, they made their system so expensive to make sure nobody is educated. They did require about 5% of people to work as slaves and educated slaves. That's why it went to 5%.
Mm-hmm.
So we are starting from scratch again. From 5% literacy, we started rising up. Today, it's at around 75, 80%, give or take.
Mm-hmm.
But the remaining 20%, the most of it is from the older generation. So it is not like we can become 100% like in a few years just because we teach everyone how to read and write.
Mm-hmm.
The way it functions is it takes a generation. The next generation is going to be 100%. So our current generation is close to 100% literate. But the number is at 80% because there are a lot of people in their 70s, 80s who cannot read.
Right, right.
So that is how we slowly phase it out.
But they can use cell phone though. That's I saw that. Some of them they don't know how to read, but they can function the cell phone. The pay, yeah, the automatic pay. Because
Yes.
when I was in India, I saw that.
The basics, they'll always get it.
Right.
The signs and
Smart.
symbols, yeah, that they learned it.
Mm-hmm.
But the actual literacy itself is, we say literacy is typically, there are different ways of defining it.
Mm-hmm.
Our definition is close to like studying till the fifth grade.
Mm-hmm.
There are some definitions that we used in the past, which is just about reading and writing. You can read something, write something, you can sign, that is good enough. Not an anguta chap. Right. But some standards say that it's say up to the elementary school is literacy. So there are different levels to it, but the bottom line is the way to improve that is ground up. We cannot eliminate it overnight. It takes a few generations. This is squarely it falls on what Britishers did. So I think we'll catch up on that.